This is my audience. This is Kaylee and Jake and Chad. Okay, ready? This is a bucket. It's a pretty common, ordinary item, unless you're talking about kicking the bucket, and then it takes on a whole other meaning. I don't know where the term kick the bucket came from, but it isn't the point of my speech, so I didn't look it up. What is the point of my speech is bucket lists. I think most people know what the term bucket lists mean, but for those of you who might not know, I'll give you the Merriam-Webster definition. Bucket list, a list of things that one has not done before, but wants to do before dying. From the phrase, kick the bucket, to die. The phrase bucket list became popular a few years ago after a movie called The Bucket List came out. The movie is about cancer patients who, knowing they have cancer and might not survive, make a list of all the things they want to do before they die. I don't much care for the term bucket list, probably because it was way overused after the movie came out, but I love the concept. Having a bucket list is one way to plan and dream for the future and make sure you experience some of the things that are most important to you in life before you run out of time. If it sounds like a good idea to you, I'll give you a little direction on the how, the why, and where to find more information. Why is it important to write a bucket list? The website Veni Vidi Vici, which is Latin for I came, I saw, I conquered, puts it very simply. By writing things down, you are more apt to achieve them. Research done by Gail Matthews, professor of psychology at Dominican University of California, showed that the positive effect of written goals was supported. Those who wrote their goals accomplished significantly more than those who did not write their goals. But there is more to the why than that. The October 2010 article, 5 Reasons You Should Write Your Bucket List, from Action Coach website, explains it like this. Thinking about your list will remind you of your why. So often we are consumed by how to do something, how to have a better life, make more money, spend time with family, etc. In the process, we overlook why we want these things. In essence, if we don't know the why, the how makes little difference. The why defines our purpose and helps to provide some motivation to persist in spite of the challenges along the way. Now that the why makes a little more sense, let's talk about the how. It may seem a little unnecessary to go over how to write a bucket list. I mean, you think of things you want to do and you write them down, right? Well, it can be as simple as that, but there are some tips that will help make your bucket list better. Here are some of those tips posted on the Ultimate Bucket List Resource Guide blog in April of 2013. Don't worry about making each aspiration earth-shattering. Sometimes the simplest goals are the most rewarding. Make sure you are only including items that are meaningful to you. Don't just add bungee jumping or skydiving just because it's a popular item on everyone else's list. Also, don't exclude anything just because you think it is too difficult or too easy. Remember that your bucket list should be ever evolving like your life. Over time, your life changes, and so will your dreams, goals, and aspirations. Don't be afraid to add and delete, as long as both are done for the right reasons. Okay, now that you have the why and the how, it's time for the fun part. Write your bucket list. There are lots of websites out there dedicated to helping people write their bucket lists, telling the story of how other people wrote their bucket lists, telling the story of how people are living their bucket lists, and giving ideas for things to include. It's really as simple as doing a basic Google search for the term bucket list, and then pick from all the different websites out there and start exploring. You don't have to start from scratch. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. Use all of the inspiration out there and get started. Hopefully what you heard here today helped you understand why it's important to consider the concept behind a bucket list, how to go about creating a bucket list if it's something that interests you, and where to find more information. I hope you were inspired to think about the things that are most important to you and be intentional to make a plan so you get to experience those things. Remember, this is a bucket. It's a pretty common, ordinary item, unless you're talking about bucket lists, and then it takes on a whole other meaning. Okay, I'm going to go through my audience one more time. Press close. Here's Kaylee and Jake and Chad.